Welcome everybody to the regular meeting of the Canton Local Board of Education, February 20th, 2024. I'd like to stand for your pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Schatzel, call the roll.
Dr. Knoll, Mr. Hamilton,
Here.
Mr. Knight,
Here.
Mr. Kavesky,
Here.
Ms. Davis.
Here.
Okay, can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as written?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions or concerns? Mr. Schatzel, call the roll.
Mrs. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Knight,
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton,
Aye.
Dr. Knoll, Mr. Kavesky.
Aye. I'd like to make the motion to waive the reading of the organizational and regular meeting, January 8th, 2024, and special meeting, January 16th, 2024, as written.
Second.
Second. Questions and concerns? Mr. Schatzel, call the roll.
Mr. Kavesky,
Aye.
Dr. Knoll,
Aye.
Mrs. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Knight,
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton.
Aye.
All right, so for school report, and
Is
so,
there any hearing of the public?
oh, I was ready to see, nothing's been turned into me, and I don't believe there's any out there, so.
Thank you.
Sorry, I was trying to skip over that already, I apologize.
Approval of invoices.
What's that?
Approval of invoices.
Okay, can I get a motion for the approval of invoices?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Any questions or concerns? Mr. Schatzel, call the roll.
Mr. Knight,
Aye.
Mrs. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Kavesky,
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton,
Aye.
Dr. Knoll.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Schatzel, we get treasurer's report?
Is there anything in school report?
School.
Yep, so the only thing, and please know, I was trying to skip over Mr. Schatzel paying the bills, everybody apologize for that. So we do not have, I just want to make sure everybody knows, we do not have our students of the month here. One of them is ill, and one of them, with it being on a Tuesday, couldn't make it. They both are interested in coming, so one of them is going to be here in March, and we will have 3. Another one will be here in April, and we may have 5, because that's when we add our May in there as well, so we just may have a really long night of reading off our students of the month. But just so everybody knows, also as we throw that out there, Erin Foster could not make it tonight, our other student rep to the board, because she takes some College Credit Plus classes that happen Tuesday evening, and so she couldn't make it in tonight. So just so you know, Kyler, we appreciate you still being here with us. As far as school report, guys, I just like to take a moment, because I don't have anything from a school, but we have some pretty exciting things, and I think you are aware that this has come in here tonight. But on the resignation piece, we are going to be taking a moment to celebrate Jeff Moore, who has been the high school principal here in some capacity. Now, I believe this is going on Jeff's 13th year. And I have to tell you, as someone that came into this district brand new, having someone as experienced as Jeff, and it just as level-headed and steady, has been just huge for me, and how much I really appreciate him and what he has done for this district over those 13 years. So tonight, when we get to that resignation section, we are going to ask that we approve that for his retirement, which, let's be honest, other than some of us up there, we're all a little jealous of on that end of it there with everything. But with us tonight, also, and this is going to take just a second again, I know we're going to ask for everybody to approve, but with us here tonight, how excited we are to be recommending to you later this evening, Krista Gerhardt to be taken over as our high school principal. And I can't tell you how excited it makes me in the fact that the people that are sitting out there with her, because if this didn't matter to her, they wouldn't be here. And Krista is a Canton South graduate who, she's poured her heart and soul. She's worked in some other districts, came in here as a counselor. I love the fact, taking over as a high school principal, that she has that counselor's background to understand the needs of children, but also to understand how a master schedule at the high school works, which is like putting together a jigsaw puzzle every day. I see you shaking your head, Mr. Knight. Krista is going to be a champion for our kids. She is going to be someone that is already thinking of ways to just continue to kick up that school spirit. And so while I'm so thankful to Jeff Moore and what he has done, and I know that he feels this is a great choice as well, we are so excited to, a little bit later tonight, get to welcome Krista on board. And also just want to say thank you to your family for being here, and just want all of you to know how much we appreciate her and what she does for our kids. We are going to be having a new HVAC facility here that's going to serve 50 kids every year, getting them career-ready skills because of her work. And that's just the tip of the iceberg there, so just excited to have her on board. Also sitting in the back, Brian Mon, and I think it's just because he had coverage tonight from his building, but with Krista's departure from Career Tech, you know, when you go back and you look at our mission, every child graduates, those 3 E's, enrolled, enlisted, employed. You can't have that without an outstanding Career Tech program. And just like I said earlier with what Jeff has done to set the stage, Chris has done that. But I'm so excited to be bringing Brian Mon into that role and bringing him forward to you guys tonight because of what he brings. He's a man of great integrity. He has a passion for Career Tech and for the trades. He comes from a family that is based in that. And I think it's just going to continue to build upon the great things that Krista has done. So with both of them being here, I just want to say how much we're looking forward to this, how excited we are, and I'm excited to recommend them to you guys a little bit later on. So kind of school reporters, we're going to get some new leaders in there and go from there. So that's all I have on that.
Thank you. Mr. Schatz, Treasurer's Report.
Okay, just one thing for approval tonight, the monthly financial reports. This will be for the month ended January 31st, 2024. If you'll turn to Exhibit TA1. We ended the month of January with a total deposit account $1,367,121.32 and total investments of $14,569,364.99 for a total reconciled balance of $15,851,837.76. That's page 1 of the report. Page 2 is a listing of all of the funds to match up to that $15.8 million reconciled balance number. And then page 3, a listing of all of our operating investments held at U.S. Bank. Those numbers mature from this month. Actually, we had one mature a little bit earlier this month that's on this report through November 30th of 2028. And the total of those match the amount on the reconciliation. And then the last page of the report, I'm not going to go through those in detail this month, but just a comparison this year compared to where we were at last year, and then our estimates versus our actual. I recommend item A for approval.
Do I have a motion to accept the Treasurer's Report? So moved. Second?
Second.
Questions and concerns? Mr. Schatz will call the roll.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Mr. Kibesky?
Aye.
Dr. Knoll?
Aye.
Mrs. Davis?
Aye.
Mr. Knight?
Aye. Brett, you have the superintendent's report?
Yep, I'm going to start it off with Kyler. We'll get you a mic here, buddy, but Kyler, if you could give us the report from the student reps from the board. Thanks.
We don't have that much this year, or this meeting. So to start off February, we already started our scheduling meetings for each grade level and already started the senior meetings to start preparing us for college. Counselors have started handing out the schedules for next year for some of the grades. Some students are still working on theirs. Mr. McElvain was honored as the high school teacher representative for the Canton repository. We also met with Q92 and they were broadcasting from the school on April 26th. We will get more information on events, activities, and vendors for the radio station soon. NTHS also hosted a blood drive right before Valentine's Day. And then our Singing Valentine's, which has been a long-standing tradition at South, was held again this year to raise money for our SOS singers. And lastly, we had over 100 high school and middle school students take the application for placement in the college credit classes. That's it.
Thank you.
You guys have any questions for Kyler? Not to put him on the spot, especially since he's by himself, but. All right, and so then for me, just a few things, and a lot of this I think you are all aware of, but the first thing I want to make sure you know is on April 8th, and we're going to send this out an announcement tomorrow, that is the solar eclipse day, which the next one I think will happen in 2444, which I don't think any of us are making it to. We are going to call that day off as a calamity day. The reason why we're calling that off as a calamity day, and just so everybody knows, we have been in constant communication with the Stark County ESC, other school districts, but most importantly, the emergency management plan. They are estimating that we are going to have traffic-wise in this county double the people. Normally there's about 365 to 370,000. They think we'll be up over 700,000 people. They told us a story about in Louisville, Kentucky, that during the 2017 solar eclipse, an elementary school bus went out onto the road, and the eclipse was over, but the traffic was so bad, it took that bus 6 hours to get those children home. And guys, I want to save you phone call. No, it's just not worth the risk. We have calamity days that are there. It's a wonderful opportunity for our families, and I'm sure our teachers will talk to our staff, or excuse me, to our students about what's coming up there. Greg, I know you're a firefighter out in Akron. I'm sure you guys are planning for that day as well. But I just want to let you know, we are not going to do a social media post. I'm going to send an email to our entire district as well as a video message from me where I kind of go into detail explaining why we're going to be off. It really is just a matter of the safety of our kids, getting them home at that time. Not to mention they are estimating all of our emergency services are going to be overtaxed and stressed that day. We just don't want to take any chances with students, as safety is our first concern. I mentioned Louisville, Kentucky. I also want to let you guys know I'm going to be attending a session down in Kentucky. I'm going to leave Friday. I'm going to come back Monday afternoon. It is called Teach Kentucky. And that is something that I was invited to join and look at through the Stark County ESC. And what they're doing is they're sending myself, Michelle Schaefer from Louisville, and Jeff Talbert from Canton City. And what they do is they are recruiting people that are maybe second careers, graduates, to come and enter the workforce in education. As in a lot of our large cities, we are seeing a shortage. I'm sure, Dr. Noel, you could even say it, Malone, the amount of kids going into education. The reason why we're going is they want to look at this as a Teach Canton opportunity to where they could come in and recruit. Now, we have no unfilled positions. Canton City did mention they had some, but I think I could speak for all of our building principals out there that we're not getting the same number of applicants that we got before. Additionally, one of the things I want to strive for is that how do we diversify our applicant pool? We know that our student population is made up of multiple different races and ethnicities, but our staff is not. And I want to be very clear, we will always hire the best candidate regardless. But are there barriers that are being put up that an outstanding candidate's not applying because they don't see Canton Local as an option? And we want to make sure that's not happening as well. So I'm going to go learn what this is about. We may be joining into like a thing called Teach Canton. And again, it is to just make sure we are attracting the best and the brightest candidates to Canton Local and not having any barriers to that happening. You guys have any questions on that or anything? Make sure.
Are there any colleges on board? Because that requires, I looked into the Teach Kentucky.
Yes.
And it requires university to pledge money towards a grad program.
Yep.
Are any universities joining with?
Not yet. The way they wanted it is the local school leaders to come down, see the program, because part of what they do is they bring in community leaders, sell them on why Louisville, like why come to Louisville area. And they think they wanted us to see that. Then it's us coming back. They want us to then go work with the Stark Ed partnership and see about getting started. And that's when we're going out to the higher eds, if that makes sense. I think they wanted to make sure that the K-12 schools are on board first. So this really is a learning trip more than anything else. It's just kind of a learning experience. But yes, you are 100% right on what you just said there on that. Other than that, just again, so very appreciative of our staff. I think everybody can tell you February, it's brutal. Christmas break is well in the break. The end of the school year is end in sight. But our teachers, our staff, our cafeteria workers, our bus drivers, everybody's doing a great job. Greatly appreciate it, and just thank you guys all for the support on that as well. So that's really all I have on my report there, Mr. Krzeski. It's right back to me anyways.
Yep, it's right back to you.
Okay, so let's start with item A, resignation and retirement. That's really what we have, 2 out of our 3. Lyndon Norris, cafeteria worker, is going to be retiring at the end of the school year. And again, just very thankful for her and what she does. Listen, we know how important our cafeteria workers are, and just gratefully appreciate Linda. I said it earlier, but Jeff Moore, again, this is a bittersweet. Excited for Jeff, but still sad. You know, anytime you lose someone of such high quality as a person is what he is. But we'd like to approve his resignation for retirement purposes. And then Robbie Dorchak has been our head boys and girls tennis coach. Robbie got a new job, could not continue to do both, chose to keep on with our girls, and that's why he is resigning here from our boys tennis program here with everything. So it is my recommendation that we would accept their resignation, 2 of which are for retirement purposes. For employment, the first 2, Amanda Lyon and Kelly Loy, are for our math coach positions that are going to be part of the math tournament that will take place next week over at Massillon, Washington. We always have a great turnout of kids, and we really appreciate them. The next, Owen Newsom as a student worker through our CBI program, and we have Mr. Knoll in the back that monitors those kids and works with them. He gets paid at a student rate. This is a way for us to get them high school credit and get a little bit of work done around the building and get them a paycheck as well. Brandy Mosteller is a substitute cafeteria worker. Paige Jones is a substitute cafeteria worker. The next one here, Deb McGraw. Guys, Deb McGraw filled in for us at the beginning of the year as a long-term sub, did an awesome job filling in for a maternity leave in 6th grade. We were so impressed with her, we stole her over to the elementary school, and she did a great job filling in for a long-term absence over there in 4th grade. We have now brought her back to the middle school, and due to a staff illness, we have a staff member that's not able to do the full part of the job right now as they go through this. We have Deb McGraw back in there. She is doing more work than this is very similar to what we did last month with the other sub. While she's in that position, we would like to up her pay to the $200 as well, which we think is fair to the work that she is doing and make sure that we're treating her fairly on that. So I would like to recommend that we do that. That is backdated, everybody, to January 29th. But this is our first board meeting since then, so I just to make sure everybody knows. The next two I already talked about, and I just want to tell you how excited I am again to recommend Krista Gerhardt to be our next high school principal at Canton South High School, and to recommend Brian Mon to be our next career tech director for Canton Local Schools and the South Star Career Academy. Both of them, I'd like to recommend 3-year contracts to them as well, which regardless of where they are, would start them over on new 3-year contracts. The next one, I'm just going to kind of go through them real quick. Amy, Nate, and John, those are just our spring stipends for the play, Greece. That is going to be March 8th, 9th, and 10th. Really excited. Hope you can get out to see our kids perform. Annie was amazing, and I have no doubt this is going to be the exact same thing. But we'd like to get them approved for their supplemental stipends. Cheryl Costello. If you guys remember, Cheryl actually stepped down from us being a secretary about a year ago. I was approached by the union about the possibility of having a substitute secretary available, particularly for attendance. Someone that knows what they're doing, someone that's trained. So we would like to approve Cheryl for the remainder of this school year at a rate of $15 an hour as needed, but effective for the rest of the year. We will bring her in and make sure she's trained in each building, and then she will only be called in as needed, just to make sure we're not having to pull people from other jobs to come and cover. It just gives us a little bit more support and stability there on that. So I'd like to ask that we approve her. Elizabeth Scott, she has been selected by our committee to be our next head boys tennis coach. Elizabeth is a graduate from here, was a tennis player from here. I know that our committee was very excited after meeting with her about what they think she brings to the table. Young, very energetic, and we are looking forward to getting her started with us here. And then Michelle Trumpauer-Hinkle as a bus driver, 4 hours per day, coming in experience 1, going back to January 29th. And then the athletic supplemental contracts, which are the assistant coaches that are found on Exhibit B1. I'd like to recommend that we approve all of them. Gifts and donations, again, always grateful. Bill and Pam Wright for the Lunch Angel donation of $500. We had 2 anonymous donations to 6-Man Mentoring, both in the sum of $200, and then to the Scott Nady Hamilton Foundation as well, making a donation to girls basketball. Would ask that we gratefully accept those and just appreciate everyone for their donations. Item D is an easy one here. It's something we have to do every year. It is us joining the Ohio High School Athletic Association. We have to pass a resolution every year in February, put that out. I have to sign a card, send it in, but I would ask that we do that so we are eligible for tournaments moving into next year for all of our Ohio High School Athletic eligibility sports. E, overnight student trips. Chris Berger, and I'm going to lump these two together, Kristen Smith, have submitted for their students to go to their state level competitions in BPA and in HOSA. And our kids always do so well and represent our school system very well. Excited for them. But we would like to approve that they go and take overnight trips, both for Kristen and HOSA and for BPA. And then Joe Rutherford, these are as needed, meaning that we have to qualify. But if you saw over the weekend when we were just the Pac-7 champions, I'm very sure that we are going to have students going to this. And we just like to approve that they have the ability to stay overnight at those upcoming tournaments for wrestling. And I recommend that we approve all of them. Sunday participation, another very cool opportunity. Mike Raholy, our associate principal at Faircrest, has been to take our student leadership group from Faircrest, 34 students, to a Cleveland Cavaliers game on Sunday, April 14th. leaving here at 11 a.m. and departing at 5. Just a cool opportunity for our kids to go and get a chance to see the Cavs, and hopefully they keep winning like they have, and keep us all going on that. But I'd like to recommend that we approve that. Unpaid doc days, this is something that's been done in the past, and just to be clear, I can approve unpaid doc days for people that are employed to us through the classified union. I cannot approve them through the teachers union, that takes board action. I would like to recommend that we approve Chris Aubaugh for 2 unpaid doc days on March 7th and 8th. This will be after he's taken his personal days, but he has the opportunity to go and watch his daughters compete in college softball tournaments down in Florida. And then the other is Wendy Zuckett. Wendy is a title teacher for us at the elementary school. Wendy has the opportunity to go with her husband. Their business are taking all their executives and spouses to Cabo St. Lucas, I believe. And she would like the opportunity to go and be a part of that with her husband as well. And I'd like to recommend that we approve May 1st and May 2nd. Again, that will be after her use up of her personal days. Item H. This is the resolution authorizing an agreement with Stark Glass for security glass. As you know, we went around and we had the school safety council come in, take a look. This is something we were already thinking of beforehand, but we would like to authorize Stark Glass to come in and redo all of the interior glass in all of our school buildings, as well as the exterior first floor windows of the high school and the elementary school. The reason we're leaving the middle school out is they were already reinforced when we built that building. We did go and get 2 quotes, and just to be very clear, this is outside the scope of competitive bid because it is a safety, and we did check with legal to make sure that we weren't doing anything wrong. We did go and get 2 quotes, but as we sat down as a team, we felt Stark Glass brought us the better product here to keep our kids safe, and that's why we're recommending them. There is a cost of it of $234,000. I want you to know that that money is coming from money that we set aside to make sure we had in the general fund to be able to cover this and to be able to go through. So we have set that aside through the work of Jason, again, making sure that he's talking to legal, that we have everything. But at the end of the day, we think this makes our kids and our staff safer. And it would go into effect. Some of the work would start over spring break, but the bulk of the work would then start all summer long, or work all summer long when we don't have kids in the building. And I'd like to recommend that we approve that. Item I, the plan for identification services of students, is this hadn't been updated since I believe 2017, and this is really just to keep us up to date with what law says we should do. Very, very grateful in the back. We have Melissa back there, and I know she provided an update, but Melissa works very, very hard with our teachers, with our families, with our building principals, with our curriculum director, to make sure that we are meeting the needs of our kids, and is always looking for ideas and suggestions. But this is just making sure that we are following all of the things and that we are in line with everything that should be in there with the Ohio Revised Code. And obviously, I'd like to recommend that we do that as well. The Stronger Connections Grant, item J, this is something that we have received. We are receiving a total of $78,446. This is to allow us to honestly do things to improve our school building. Part of, and our climates and culture with everything. We are actually using our Trek teacher. Part of this money is funding our Trek teacher that is over at the middle school, doing a phenomenal job for us. And then Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but the other parts of it then are using to help fund PBIS initiatives and things like that to make sure we're supporting our PBIS in the way that it needs to as well. So I'd like to recommend that we accept that all the way through, and that is the end of my report, A through J.
I'd like to move on A through J with the exception of Ms. Kerrigan Horning and Exhibit B.
I'll second that.
We're missing exhibit 3 and 4. Did that come later? Is that what it's to approve the overnight trip for
Oh.
wrestling? There is no.
Yep, absolutely. We'll make sure to be very, very honest with you, that was the holdup, and I did not, that was the holdup on the packet going out, and I developed, it has been submitted, we just gotta get it, so I will send that out to you. It is just basically the details, the same type of details you would see right above. It's basically just, hey, what hotel they're staying at, what they're going, but that will be there, and I'll make sure that gets sent out. Good catch, and thank you, and that's my fault for not following up on that.
Yes, we answered your
Sorry.
questions and concerns. All right, call the roll.
Dr. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton?
Aye.
Mr. Knight?
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Mrs. Davis.
Aye.
Okay, now I'd like to move on Kerrigan Horning and Exhibit B1.
Second. Any questions or concerns? Mr. Schatz will call the roll.
Dr. Knoll.
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton.
Aye.
Mr. Knight.
Abstain.
Mr. Kovesky.
Aye.
Mrs. Davis.
Aye.
Okay, informational items?
I have the legislative, just a couple things very quickly. There's a House Bill 339 that had a public hearing, and it authorizes tax revenue to be used to pay tuition to a category of private schools that currently operate without a state-issued charter. These are non-chartered, non-public schools known as 08 schools. They have no government oversight, so they have no government regulations, no transparency, and no accountability. And yet, our legislators want to use public funds to sustain them. So that bill is, they had a public hearing. There were quite a few people showed up that were interested in it. So we will just follow it and see where it goes. But if you want to register your feelings on that bill, I'm sure your legislature would like to hear from you.
And I will throw out there too, just to follow up on what Mr. Knight's saying. This is why at the organizational meeting, we are one of the school districts that have joined the Ohio Coalition for Adequacy and Equity that does support efforts to go against diverting public funds to these schools that are not regulated and try to keep them with our public schools. So again, just making sure that you know that we are as a district a part of the effort to keep funds there for our kids. Sorry.
That's no problem. And then another group of legislators are trying to attach a rider to bills that are already on the floor that would provide monies to build buildings for non-public charter schools. So that is not in a bill yet, but the word is that they are trying to slide it into other bills that are already on the floor that may have a great opportunity to pass, and that they could just pass it along and have public funds used to build charter school buildings. So those are the things that are going on right now in the legislature.
Thank you. Is there any questions pertaining to the agenda or board actions tonight? Other business advisory council?
If this is just to remind you guys that we are a part of the Business Advisory Council through the Stark County ESC. They go out, they meet, they provide us with updates. But I do want to make sure you know that we are working to do more and more. Very, very excited about August 16th of next year. We have a speaker coming in that is known as a generational expert of kind of understanding the kids we are working with today and the kids that are going out into the workforce. We take generations, these ages basically 6 through 26 right now. But we're partnering with the Stark County Board of Economic Development. They're going to be bringing business leaders into the school that day with us. We have other school districts that are joining us. We think it's going to be a really exciting day. I have a meeting in March where we're going to really talk about planning more and more, but I just want to make sure you don't ever think that all we ever do within the world of business advisory is talk to or just get a paper from the Stark County ESC. This is something we are very committed to as well. And so I just want to make sure everybody was aware of that.
Thank you. Okay, now in executive session, I'd like to make a motion to go into executive session for the discussion of employment of a public employee and complaints against a public official.
Second.
Mr. Chaplin?
Hey, hold on.
Who was the second?
Hold on. Do we need to, will there be any action taken after? Do we need to make that announcement before we vote? Okay, with no action taken?
No action.
Okay.
Second. Mr. Chaplin, call the roll.
Mrs. Davis.
Aye.
Mr. Knight.
Aye.
Mr. Hamilton.
Aye.
Dr. Knoll.
Aye.
Mr. Kovesky.
Aye. Okay, we're back in regular session. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Anybody, any conversations? Questions or concerns? Good. Mr. Schatzel, call the roll.
Mr. Kovesky,
Aye.
Dr. Noel,